Have you ever gave yourself a goal of becoming greater spiritual self? How did it go? Are you satisfied with the outcome? Did you find the right path? Spiritual growth is perhaps one of the most misunderstood concepts in the human experience. It is frequently framed as a vertical trajectory, a ladder that one climbs to reach a state of enlightenment, moral perfection, or expanded consciousness. The desire to become someone greater is deeply rooted in the ego's architecture. Our societal structures, driven by metrics of success, achievement, and evolution, have seamlessly integrated into our spiritual pursuits. We approach spirituality as we approach a career or a fitness regimen. We seek to level up. We want to be more compassionate, more peaceful, more intuitive, and more enlightened. While these aspirations appear noble, they often reinforce the very construct that spiritual growth aims to dissolve: the separated, grasping ego. By viewing spiritual growth as a process of becoming greater, we implicitly judge the current self as an obstacle to be overcome or a project to be renovated. This creates a cycle of self-improvement that keeps us trapped in a future-oriented mindset. We effectively postpone our true life until we attain a specific level of spiritual prestige, essentially turning spirituality into just another form of worldly ambition. The path of inversion, subtraction over addition? If spiritual growth is not about becoming someone greater, then what is it? Many traditions, from Zen Buddhism to the Advaita Vedanta and the mystical branches of Abrahamic faiths, suggest that spiritual growth is an act of inversion. It is not an ascent, but a descent, not an accumulation, but a stripping away. To be greater implies size, power, and accumulation. To be spiritually awake, however, often implies a radical simplification. It is the process of shedding the layers of conditioning, societal expectations, trauma, and identity narratives that we have accumulated throughout our lives. When a sculptor creates a statue, they do not add marble, they remove the stone that is not part of the figure. Similarly, spiritual growth can be viewed as the removal of the false beliefs that prevent our innate, underlying reality from shining through. In this light, we are not becoming someone greater, we are becoming someone more transparent, more authentic, and more present. The ego's trap of transcendence. The ego is remarkably adept at hijacking the spiritual path. It loves the idea of becoming greater because it promises a sense of superiority, exclusivity, and specialness. A person who believes they have grown spiritually often risks falling into the trap of spiritual narcissism, the quiet, insidious belief that they are more aware, more evolved, or more awake than others. True spiritual maturity recognizes that the urge to be greater is a subtle form of resistance to what is. It is a rejection of the ordinary, gritty, and often unglamorous reality of being human. A spiritually mature perspective acknowledges that the divine is just as present in the mundane, the broken, and the mediocre as it is in the sublime. To seek to be greater is to suggest that the divine has a hierarchy of value, which contradicts the fundamental tenet of spiritual unity found in almost all contemplative traditions. Integration versus elevation. If we discard the goal of becoming greater, what remains? The focus shifts from elevation to integration. Growth becomes the ability to hold the entirety of the human experience, the shadow, the joy, the grief, and the confusion, with total presence. Becoming greater is an abstraction, becoming real is an act of courage. It requires the willingness to sit with one's own limitations, to acknowledge one's own anger, to feel one's own grief, and to stop running away from the reality of the present moment. This is not greater in the way the ego defines it, it is deeper. It is a move from the surface of identity into the depth of consciousness. It is the transition from wanting to be a spiritual giant to simply being a human being who is fully awake to their own existence. We should remember meaning of humility and humbleness. Humility is often misconstrued as a form of self-depreciation or the act of making oneself small. In reality, it is the exact opposite. It is the quiet, expansive strength of having an accurate assessment of oneself, neither overestimating nor underestimating one's worth. True humility is a foundational power, acting as the essential bridge between potential and achievement. It is not about thinking less of yourself, it is about thinking of yourself less, thereby opening the doors to profound personal growth, connection, and wisdom. How to cultivate humble mindset. Humility is not a trait we are born with or without, it is a discipline. It can be cultivated through active listening. Making a conscious effort to understand someone else's viewpoint fully before formulating your own. Gratitude, regularly acknowledging the factors outside of your own effort, luck, support from others, timing, that contribute to your success. Admitting mistakes. Practicing the simple, yet profound, act of saying, "I was wrong," or "I don't know the answer to that." How many humble people do you know? Can you look in the mirror and be sure that you are practicing humbleness, or humility? Tough questions? Oh well, didn't we start with spiritual growth? Weren't we aiming at our own betterment? In conclusion, spiritual growth is ultimately the process of realizing that there is nowhere to go and nothing to become. We are not seeds waiting to bloom into something that does not already exist. We are the soil, the water, and the potential already fully formed. The sense of being lesser is the primary illusion, and the attempt to become greater is the primary distraction. True growth is found when the pursuit of greatness dissolves into the recognition of the present. It is the quiet, unassuming realization that you are already complete, and that the only work left to do is to drop the heavy, exhausting armor of the self that you thought you had to build. When we stop trying to become someone greater, we are finally free to become exactly who we are. That, in its most radical and unvarnished sense, is the only spiritual growth that truly lasts. Hoping that these thoughts resonate with you or brought to you some new views of spiritual growth. So you are going to like and share this video with others who might need it. Please let us know if you feel the same way now as when you started watching this short presentation. Leave a comment below. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you didn't do it yet. Thank you for spending these few minutes with us. Until the next time.